And to lead the evaluation portion on that presentation will be Nkenge, Warren Swan. Nkenge, would you please give some feedback to Bekah?
Excuse me. Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and guests, and especially to you, Rebecca. I want to start off by telling you what it is that I loved about your speech. I love that you spelled out that acronym, because we get into bad habits and we don't always say exactly what that means. So that's the first thing I really enjoyed, because automatically I was able to connect. Your hand gestures were great. I love the hand gestures. I also love this feeling of altruism, which just resonates throughout your body. And your responses were very spontaneous, so that it automatically indicated that your words and actions were in sync with each other. I also had the sense of servant leadership that just jumped out at the same time. You are happy to serve. Serving has become a part of who you are and who you want to continue to be. And I also like that you stayed within that frame very nicely, because that's a challenge many of us are having as we are acclimating to online presenting. There are some areas that I would like for you to work on, and you may consider these, because this is just from my opinion and what I've seen. I would ask you to consider minding your clutch words. You're using quite a few ands, and that's sort of interrupting the flow of the ideas that are so brilliant and you're trying to convey. Another is completing a sentence. There are many times you start and then you just may make a little switch up, but just work on making sure you finish one thought before you switch to another thought. And this is a particular thing I notice a lot: ending sentences and prepositions. Be mindful of when you say something, where I am at. Simply where I am should suffice. You shouldn't need to put on the extra. So those are just some considerations I'd like for you to keep in mind, please. With that being said, there are a few challenges that I also encourage you to look at. Is when you are making transition, you may consider using words such as therefore, however, for example, such as, and that way your thought doesn't get interrupted by unnecessary conjunctions. Overall, I love the clarity. I loved your volume. Great topic, very interesting and engaging. I wish you continued success and all the best, because I am going to put the word out for you that you are the next champion.
Thank
Over to you, Madam Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Nkenge. And now we will have a round robin panel to give some feedback to Bekah so that she gets the maximum benefit from her experience here. Right. Is there anyone else that would like to give some feedback to Bekah?
Yes, I wrote a number of comments to Nkenge. You need to watch the word dentist and dentistry, because they're common words for you, but the first couple times I heard both of those, it was run together, as you would say that dentist, you know, because you know what you're talking about. But since your audience doesn't know those words, doesn't know that they apply to you, you almost have to exaggerate the dentist and dentistry the first time you say them, so that we know what you're talking about.
Okay, and Kay?
My thought to share with you is to challenge you to think about your goals as what many people would call a do-gooder. By the way, my husband, who's sitting next to me, thinks all of us that do good things are do-gooders. I think the fact that you and I are do-gooders is a wonderful thing. So don't mistake my comment for thinking that you're not doing good. You are, and you're doing good in really important areas. However, you might want to think about how you describe each of them uniquely, because I found redundancy in what you said. And each one of those philosophical desires that you have, objectives that you have, ought to be very clean and neat. And I think that demonstrates how well you've thought about each one of them, as it has its own merits to stand on. Just a thought on how you think about how you describe these things that you do so well and with such passion, but in different ways that distinguish them.
Okay.
Hi.
Okay. And Barbara, yes?
Yes. I would include some stories. You talked about your son, but your sons rather, and I think that it would add a much additional texture to your message if you included stories that emphasize your story. I think perhaps that just adds stories always add to your message. That was my consideration. Thank you.
Okay. Stories to engage the audience. Okay. Anyone else? Yes, and Wisha, unmute yourself.
My only comment for Bekah is to maybe slow down a little bit. At times, you know, I know you have so much to say and you have time limit, but sometimes when you don't slow down, it's hard for the audience to grasp it, and you lose the emotional part of the great stories that you have to share. So, you know, it's better to say less, pause, and have more impact of what you're saying rather than saying a lot. That can have more impact on the audience. And good luck.
Thank you. Yes,
Okay.
may I add something?
Letitia, yes.
Yes, Bekah, yes, I would also agree with what the earlier fellow Toastmaster said, and the strategic poses, that means strategically poses should be placed. Then the audience can reflect on what you say. Otherwise, the overall performance was excellent, a brilliant piece of work. I have to congratulate. But next time, when you deliver a speech, could you please think of that strategic poses that you have to think where to place them, and with a pin drop silence. We call it pin drop silence. All of a sudden, be silent for just a fraction of a second. Then the audience, you can make the audience aware of what you are saying. All the best. Yes, over to you. Back to you, Madam Evaluator.
Right, thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to add a comment? I'm looking. Okay, I don't see any hands. Okay, I will add a few comments. I thought that it was excellent that you're standing up, Bekah, and that you're wearing the sash that says Mrs. Cincinnati, excuse me, and that you look like you are ready to be competing. So I thought that your appearance is spotless today. You look very professional and like you're in a pageant. And I agree with a number of the comments that were made, that sometimes when you slow down a little bit, it allows the audience to absorb the information a little bit more. And finally, I am so impressed with everything that you have accomplished. You have 3 boys, you have a profession, you are working out, and you're going camping. I'm wondering, how do you find the time to do all of that? I'm really impressed. And thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me, and I appreciate all of the feedback, and I'm very grateful for your club just helping me out.
All right, now we will move on to our second